Today we are reviewing Teeling Whiskey, a brand created by Walter Teeling in 1792, but went bankrupt before returning more recently. And this is actually the first Irish whiskey on the channel, and an Irish whiskey that may surprise you. Now, whenever somebody says Irish whiskey to me, I always feel like I know what to expect. And that's because for a long period of history after the recession in the whiskey industry, which happened in the 1960s, many Irish whiskey brands, including Teeling's, went bankrupt. And Irish whiskey was then defined by just a few brands that remained. Brands you've definitely heard of, like Jameson's, Bushmills, and so on. And therefore, the Irish whiskey industry was only being defined by a few brands that used a blend of pot stills and grain stills to blend their whiskey together. Therefore, Irish whiskey really has a very distinctive taste to me. And whenever someone, if you tried Irish whiskey, I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a very subtle taste. But here we have Teeling's, a whiskey I feel like is more of an exception to this rule. So let's go ahead and pour ourselves a dram and try out this whiskey for ourselves, because I'm actually very excited to try this. So, on the nose, you immediately get this very fruity smell that hits you immediately. And there's you get a sweetness of vanilla with that fruitiness, but then there's a slight bit of rum at the back. And this whiskey was actually aged in ex-bourbon oak casks, and then it was finished in rum casks, which is very interesting because I think that's maybe even adding those spicy notes that I smell. If I had, I don't at the moment, I know the smell of Jameson's, for example. It's a very subtle whiskey, which I very much enjoy. And this, as an Irish whiskey, is really something different that you kind of need to try in that sense. It's breaking the mold of what I think of as an Irish whiskey, which is why I get quite kind of excited about it. You'll see colour-wise, it has that very nice straw yellow colour, which is genuine to the whiskey, which I appreciate. Let's go ahead and taste this. Wow. Okay, so you get this sort of buttery tasting note to it, which I believe comes from the unmalted barley. And then there's this very, a lot of people say it's sweet, but I also get like a lot of spicy notes with this. It's almost got this aftertaste that develops this spiciness, a peppery sort of nice warmth to it that I'm familiar with from rum, and I suppose that woodiness comes from the cask themselves. But initially, you really do get this sort of sweet apple pie sort of zestiness to it. I'd say an orange zestiness. But what really stands out to me is the mix of spices. It's actually a very enjoyable whiskey, and it's not trying to be a typical Irish whiskey, which I feel like is usually kind of subtle and very mellow. It's a very enjoyable experience in that sense. It's not too harsh in any direction. It's just a subtle hint of different flavors, spiciness with that rum warmth to it. And I actually really enjoy that. It's one of those, you know what I mean. If I say, when you're in the mood to drink an Irish whiskey and then you just pull out the Jameson's and it's kind of like that nice sort of Appley aroma, very easy sort of to drink. And it's not like having a Talisker or having something that's very intense. You can kind of relax back with it and just sort of experience those mild flavor notes. And I actually really enjoy it for that reason. I would actually rate this. I'm going to do a rating out of 5 now on these whiskey reviews, and I think I'd give this a 3 out of 5. As in, it's above average, I think, and I do quite enjoy it. It's something that I would potentially, if someone gifted me a bottle, or if I ever saw a bottle on sale down from, I think it's around $45 or £35, then I might grab it. But at that price range, probably wouldn't until it was on sale. And usually I buy most of my bottled whiskey on sale in that sense. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick whiskey review. I know it's been a long time since I've actually uploaded one on the channel. I think I've been covering a lot of content on my main channel, which is where I basically make a living from, doing gaming videos on Cyberpunk and doing like 2 videos a day on there. And they require a lot more time and effort than making a quick whiskey review for you guys and sort of just telling you a bit about the history and brand. So if this is the kind of thing you enjoy, subscribe, press the bell icon for future videos. Best way to stay up to date if you want to experience some new unusual whiskies. I got a lot of drams to get through and a lot of new bottles that I've acquired since our last video. So I'm very excited to share those with you guys, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Goodbye.